starting to understand slow Portuguese in your lessons, but then the moment you step outside, it all sounds like a big, fast blur. Yep, I've been there. This is one of the biggest struggles that learners of European Portuguese face, and the good news is it's completely normal. The way the Portuguese is spoken naturally is very different from the clear, slow speech that you hear in apps or in the classroom. So in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why this happens and give you powerful strategies to train your ears so you can finally start understanding real spoken Portuguese. This will help whether you are a beginner or an improver, and these are the same strategies that I recommend to my own students, so you know that they are going to work. So let's get started by talking about the difference between 3 types of listening: extensive, active, and passive. Now, there is a role for each of them in your learning, so let's start with the first one, which is extensive listening. Now, one of the biggest mistakes learners make is only listening to Portuguese in very small, controlled doses, like you would in a classroom or in a textbook dialogue. But think about how you learnt your first language. You were completely surrounded by it constantly. And this is where extensive listening comes in. The idea is to expose yourself to as much Portuguese as possible, even if you don't understand everything. Now, most people don't feel comfortable doing this because they think, oh, I won't understand anything at all. And I want you to know that that is not the goal. In fact, if you try to understand everything, your brain is just going to switch off, and that is not what we want. Instead, we want to work on recognizing keywords. What are those? Well, they are the words that you do know. Now, when you're an absolute beginner, there won't be many of them. So my advice to you, if you are just getting started, is to download the 100 most frequent words in Portuguese as a flashcard set. I have linked this free set that I made with native Portuguese audio down in the description. And these are going to be the words that you hear every day, time and time again, that will actually allow you to get the gist of what is going on in any situation. They actually say that with as little as 100 words, we can understand up to 50% of texts that use everyday speech. So when you have that and you are familiar with these words, you can now start exposing yourself to as much Portuguese as possible through extensive listening and start to pick out those key words. Remember, in this early stage, the goal isn't to translate every word, but to get your ears used to the rhythm, the sounds, and the patterns of the language. Even if you only catch about 20 to 30% of it at first, your brain is working in the background to absorb the sounds and the structures. So turn on the TV or the radio, or even get down to your local cafe and listen in to the conversations around you. It is all going to help. So on to active listening. Well, active listening is where we're going to be doing those short controlled bursts. Okay, so we are going to dial up our focus, and we are going to listen to short texts of up to about 3 minutes, let's say. And once again, we're going to try and pick out key words and phrases that we do know. So great examples of this could be a short newsreel or a song. You can check out this video where I go through how to use music as a listening tool. It's a really, really fun one. So if you want more of a challenge, we can try news articles. And my favorite place to go is Euronews because it has items that are about 2 minutes long, which is perfect for this type of practice. And they also have a transcription below, so you can check your work afterwards. Here is a step-by-step tutorial that I recorded a few years ago. My voice has changed a lot in that time, so don't laugh, but this is a really helpful step-by-step of what to do.
The website we're going to use for this is Euronews, so you just need to go to pt.euronews.com to access all of their content in European Portuguese. Now, the reason that I like this website is because they have lots and lots of different articles. So if you just click on one here, you can see that they have a sort of 1 to 2 minute news report here, which is what you're going to be listening to. And then down at the bottom, they also have an article, which is usually the exact transcript of what is in the video. So that's not always 100% the case, so sometimes you might need to double check that, but I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do this now. So I'm going to use, which one am I going to use? I'm going to use this one here, about polar bears. All right, so I'm going to click on that, So once I've checked that the transcript matches, okay, I'm not going to look at the transcript again. I'm going to make sure that I hide that, and I'm just going to play the article. So the first thing I'm going to do is just listen and write down as many keywords as I can in order. Maybe the first time you do this you won't get that many words, and that's okay, because we're going to repeat this exercise 3 more times so we can note down more keywords each time. Once you've gone as far as you can possibly go with your keywords and had a read through to see if you can work out what's going on, you can then check you are right with Google Translate. Okay, so you can now get the Google Translate extension here for Chrome. That's what I use, and you can just click Translate this page, and it will then throw it up for you in English, and you can see how close you got to the meaning.
Without a doubt, the best way to practice this type of active listening is with a language learning partner. I made a video about what this is and how to go about it recently, so you can check that one out. But basically, it's an exchange between you who wants to learn Portuguese and somebody who wants to learn your native language. And you can set up a time to speak where they can practice their English or French, for example, whatever your native language is, and you can practice your Portuguese. The reason I love this so much is because this is why you're learning Portuguese, right? To actually talk to real people and build real connections. So there's no better way to do it than by practicing within a conversation. I know it feels scary to go and do this, but go and watch that video next, and I think it will give you the confidence to give this a try. And I'll tell you about some of my students who have done an amazing job at this. So the final piece of the puzzle is passive listening. Passive, of course, just means having Portuguese on in the background while you are doing other tasks. So maybe you enjoy cooking dinner every night, or maybe even when you're washing the dishes, turn the radio on. Maybe you need to take a long drive to work every day, or you like to take the dog for a walk every day. Again, these are great opportunities to have some Portuguese in your ears, maybe through a podcast or an audiobook, and little by little, it's all going to help you build up that picture and that understanding in your brain of how to absorb Portuguese. So which one of these methods are you going to try? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear how you get on. And if you need more help getting to this level where you will be able to do listening practice by this, then you definitely need to come along to my free lesson for beginners. We give an introduction on how to understand fast Portuguese out in the everyday world, as well as diving into pronunciation and essential grammar. The link to register is down in the description, and I would love to see you there. I'll be back next week with more tips and tutorials to build your confidence and conversation skills in European Portuguese, so I will see you then. Ciao for now.